It's good to speak to you standing on the bridge, speaking about gender inequalities as it relates to HIV and AIDS mothers, and talking about prevention of mother to child transmission of HIV and AIDS. I am Mabel Adinya Ade, a safe motherhood advocate and a gender activist. Today we mark 16 days of activism, and it's important that we remember those that have been excluded from mainstream conversations. HIV and AIDS pandemic has been a topic of conversation for over 3 decades. Today we speak about eliminating HIV and AIDS, but the circumstance we find ourselves in Africa, and Nigeria in particular, is really very, very bad. When we say we are worse hit and we have the worst indices for pediatric HIV, it's really bad. And so Association of Women Living with HIV and AIDS have been contributing their quota towards preventing transmission from mother to child. And this they have been doing through their initiative called Mother Mentors. This initiative, they started from the national level and they have stepped it down to state and local government level. It's on the increase. This week, they have been in training to update their knowledge on preventing transmission of HIV from mother to child. I am speaking to you about issues around HIV and AIDS, particularly as it relates to gender inequality conversations. When we speak about numbers of people affected by HIV and AIDS, it is more women and girls. And that is because of the vulnerability of a woman and a girl to the infection. Whether it is through sex, through blood transmission, or whatever, poverty has placed us in a situation where we are vulnerable however it comes. As a wife, you are vulnerable. As a girl, you are vulnerable, particularly if your meal is determined by some charity or the transactional sex that brings a plate of food to your table. We speak in a country and a context where we are ravaged by war, all forms of conflicts and insecurity. As a researcher and a gender advocate, I do quite a lot of maternal health work. And in health facilities, when I'm conducting interviews, maternal and neonatal health interviews, the cases of HIV that I see and the kind of treatment and reception that I get in hospitals is really something we need to look at. And so our searchlight is on HIV positive pregnant women.
The actual Mentor Mother initiative is a support system to actualizing the 2030 goal of eradicating new HIV infection. And the Mentor Mothers play a very vital role. You see, over the years, we've been hearing about the prevalence rates, how things are done wrong. We keep hearing so many reports that is not pleasant at all. So the Mentor Mothers have been designated to both facilities and communities to ensure that the uptake of ANC and PMTCT is on high demand. And that is done so well that the ASWAN supervisors go on site to monitor the activities of Mentor Mothers. We ensure that they bring the exposed infants born by PLHIV women are brought to the facilities to access their early care, to access their EID test. And we feel that we go a long way in eradicating new infection, which is a burden to us. Presently, as I speak, globally, 50% of the prevalence rate on pediatric HIV is borne by Nigeria. And that alone is not pleasant to hear. So the actual Mentor Mothers have taken it upon themselves to even voluntarily work hard to ensure that figure is brought down to the minimal. rate we hope to see.
My journey started when I got married, 1996. I lost my first baby. Then I now took in again. I gave birth to a son. And they are always admitting him in the hospital. Almost every month or every 2 months. And then sometimes even me, we are always falling sick. So when I later discovered that what they are treating this boy is HIV, that they are treating him, because I read the label in this and it was talking about HIV. That was when I discovered, and I asked the doctor, please, can I do the test in your facility? If you are doing me like this, as I have to go to another hospital and carry out the test, and I discovered that I was HIV positive. It was like I have reached the end of the road. I was thinking, is that how I'm going to die? My child is going to die, the child that come out of holy matrimony, like that.
My journey started 2014 when I was pregnant. I had twins in my stomach. I didn't know I was HIV positive. On getting to ANC clinic, a test was done and my results came. The counselor called me and said, "Ma, you are HIV positive." The first thing that came up my mind was, Jesus, my children. Had I known I'm positive, I would not have gotten pregnant.
My brother had to move me from my place to Makodi. And one evening he called me, say, come and see something in the television. One late Father Hunter was in the telly with a PLA. And she was like, I'm HIV positive, I'm taking my drugs, I'm doing well. I now took the phone number, I copied the phone number, I traced them. I now traced the Reverend Father, I traced the lady. So the father now made me, I told the father my story, he made me his right hand. We started the support group with the Reverend Father.
I became a mentor mother because I got the benefit of the PMTCT services. I got information from the media, the radio specifically, and I followed every practical step, and I came out with HIV negative children. So that has impacted my life so positively. I had to go out also, look out for women who are depressed because they are pregnant and HIV positive, and I've given them hope. And most of them have negative children, including multiple deaths.
Kamar ni haka, ni mace ce mai HIV. So mai gidana ma bai da shi. Duk ƴaƴana ma ba mi shi. So ni kaɗai ce. Kuma lokacin da da na kama, a lokacin ma ba ma san ba ma magani. So ni nawa jini ma aka samu. So lokacin ba a ma gwaji sosai haka. So amma ni ƴaƴana babu su. Sannan kuma akwai abokanan da nake da su, yawancinsu in suka je suka samu, ko in aka yi aure aka je aka gwada, wasu ma za ka ga sun samu matsala da mazajensu.
So after 6 weeks, a test was conducted on my children and the results came up. It was negative, HIV negative. And when I discovered that the result of my children was HIV negative, any positive pregnant woman that come to the hospital for registration, I will walk up to her, show her my children's result, that I've done it and it's working, and they will follow me. That was how I started gathering women who are HIV positive, giving them orientation, using myself as an example, and the result that I got from PMTCT intervention.
My name is Rose Pomado. I'm a nurse midwife. I work in a facility where we do integrated health services. We attend to everyone that comes to the hospital, including all pregnant women that attend antenatal clinic. And we integrate the service in such a way that there is no difference between women who are positive and those who are negative. But one important thing we do is that every woman that walks into the facility to register for antenatal, we ensure that HIV services are offered to them. And by so doing, we are able to test every pregnant woman that comes into the facility to assess ANC care. Thereby, she goes to the lab, she runs the test. We do counseling, a group counseling for everyone that come to register for antenatal. And after that, we send them to the lab for them to run the test so that they will know their HIV status. And by the time the results of the test is out, if we discover that any woman out of all the ones sent to the lab is positive, then we pick up from there. We start the post-test counseling, where we counsel the woman on the results. Then we give her the meaning of that positive result she's having today, and then to give her care and support, and to encourage her to know that being positive does not mean the end of the world, and then what next is to be done to her so that we can have a HIV negative baby. And then counseling for those just newly discovered is not just it will not just end during the post-test counseling. It's an ongoing counseling. We give them a lot of information, and we enroll them on care. They have to start their drug immediately, and then we encourage them to disclose their status to their husband. And by disclosing to their partners, they gain more support, and it helps reduce stigmatization, and it helps us to ensure that the baby we are expecting comes out free at the end of all the services we are rendering.
Years goes by, we give birth to our children, and all the children that is born under us are negative. And now in Akwa Ibom State, we have 31 LGA, which we have succeeded in disseminating ourselves to all the 31 LGA in Akwa Ibom State.
33 yawanci local government da ba ji an yi aiki a wurin nan ba shine birnin Gwari. Birnin Gwari saboda akwai matsalan bandits kuma hanyar wurin nan babu kyau. The first time farkon zuwa da aka yi sanda aka ɗauki security, an ba mu security ne suka raka mu da ƙyar aka dawo. Yawancin mu akwai local government da ba a zuwa yanzu haka, kamar birnin Giwa local government. Ni da kaina na je na aiki a Giwa local government. So mun samu matsala. Yawanci ƙauyukan Giwa local government din nan bandits sun yawa a wajen nan. Yawancin matan wurin nan ma an kashe mazajensu da 'ya'yansu.
The role of mentor mothers in the course of PMTST services, when the healthcare workers were the one providing all these services, there are times you get lost to follow up. You don't get the women coming back for EID or obtaining other services. But with the introduction of mentor mothers to PMTST services, it has helped in improving the uptake of PMTST services, whereby the mentor mother will be there during the counseling. She mentored them, she followed them up, she called them, and then they return to the hospital or the facility as at when due. And then when the babies are delivered, even after educating the women on the feeding option, since most of them cannot afford the infant formula, which was being in use previously. And currently they are being encouraged to breastfeed their babies for at least 1 year and do exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months of delivery. So the mentor mothers play a vital role by ensuring that these women adhere to all the instruction that is being given to them.
We ensure that they bring the exposed infants born by PLHIV women are brought to the facilities to access their early care, to access their EID test. Children born to HIV positive mothers are negative, and it is possible with the ASWAN mentor mothers because they are trained, they are enlightened, and they give the best service they can.
Gender inequality issues that we speak to today that needs to be bridged are as it relates to social protection concerns. When we talk about livelihood, we talk about nutrition. They are very serious issues. And when you look at the Nigerian social protection policy and its implementation, there is no deliberate attempt to mainstream women living with HIV and AIDS into this program. I speak particularly as it relates to cash transfers and nutrition support. Now we have women living with HIV and AIDS who are jobless, who need to eat well to take their drugs so the drugs can be effective. We have them pregnant. Their nutrition is a whole lot of issues. I speak to women that I'm supporting today who have in their vulnerability rendered services to many other young, upcoming mothers who are HIV positive through counseling and supporting them in every way possible to to deliver HIV-free babies through Mentor Mother Initiative.
Without money, you cannot go far, no matter how you try. So if there will be a little support for these women, it will go a long way and it will save a lot of lives.
Why it is critical to support the ASWA Mentor Mother Initiative is because we want to be the face that has brought relief and end to new HIV infection in children. And this is possible with the support of partners and other implementing partners. We also want to see how the positive pregnant women access services freely, consistently, and affordably. Having access to sexual and reproductive health services is one goal to actualizing the success of PMTCT.
Now, Ashwan, as an organization that is very small, with very low capacity, is able to make this contribution. I think that their effort towards ensuring that children are born HIV-free from HIV-positive mothers is commendable. And they are not just doing this, but this piece is also an advocacy piece of material for others to know that the services of this group of women and girls goes beyond registered members. And that, for me, is the reason that I have put my full weight into this. And as you watch this documentary, I want you to not just watch it, but become an advocate and find a way of linking them to some form of support financially, capacity-wise, and also ensuring that the facilities, even at the rural areas where today the mechanisms are very weak, are resuscitated or brought up to a state. It's a condition that services can be provided to positive women in the rural areas and hard-to-reach areas. Thank you very much.